With the real estate market still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, buyers and sellers are still trying to figure out what the best course of action is moving forward. Mortgage rates are expected to decline, but because there's such a low supply, it's likely that the market will stay just as competitive. But according to Dave Ramsey, right now is
the best time to buy a house
because of the increased interest rates and a slowed down real estate market. The reason he encourages viewers to buy even despite a high interest rate is because they come back down eventually, and you can refi and get rid of that high mortgage rate that you have right now. Meaning that the only problem that you're going to come across in your investment is finding a good deal. As of right now, there's housing shortage, meaning there aren't enough houses to meet the demand from the buyers. But it's still possible to find a good house at a good deal. You're just going to be competing with the other people who know you can refinance later on. And if interest rates never do drop, then you manage to avoid potential mortgage rate increases later on. Plus, you get the added bonus of building more equity the sooner you buy. If that sounds complicated, then it really just means that if you buy now, you'll be getting a good deal. You're either buying at the cheapest price it's going to be moving forward, or you can lower the amount you have to pay later on. On top of that, you also get to keep the money that your home generates due to inflation. So you're really just figuring out whether or not it would still be a good investment if the market was lower. The only thing Ramsey explicitly warned viewers about is to avoid becoming house poor by buying too expensive of a house and ending up with all your money being put into your mortgage payment each month, which really just means it's unwise to buy the maximum amount of the house that you can qualify for.
So house poor means I borrowed so much on my house that I end up borrowing on other things.
But what if we're in a recession? Recession have a tendency to complicate things in real estate and usually result in more buyers due to lower interest rates and therefore lower mortgages. Although interest rates and mortgages aren't direct causes of each other, they typically correlate, and when one is low, it suggests that the other is as well. At the time of this video being recorded, it's looking like we're heading into uncharted territory with traits of a recession, but with rising interest rates to combat inflation instead of falling ones. So while buyers will usually have the upper hand, they don't at the moment because they're struggling. They're dealing with the problem of affordability due to the higher interest rate. There's also the risk of losing your job if a recession hits, meaning you have a much lower chance of qualifying for a loan because you have no income. And even if you keep your job, the area surrounding you will impact the local market, and in turn will change the housing options you have moving forward. You might have money to buy a home, but if sellers don't, they're going to raise the prices and you'll no longer have enough money. So let's make things as simple as we can. If you're somebody who has the funds to invest in real estate right now, should you wait to invest? Let's assume that you already have an emergency fund set aside. And for the sake of giving a real answer, we'll assume that you have no debt. If you stick the funds into a savings account that you don't touch for 30 years, then its value will stay the same or go down due to inflation. So we're not going to do that either. This leaves you with the option to invest in assets or liabilities. And because everybody knows what liabilities they would buy, we'll just focus on the assets. Right now, there are a lot of investment opportunities that can yield positive returns. But one of the most stable and reliable is, you guessed it, real estate. But that doesn't mean that you have to go buy an investment property. Although many people recommend buying properties, you can also invest in real estate through things like REITs that require less commitment. And there's a lot of other options as well that I go over in another video on my channel, if you want to go check that out too. Overall, only you can decide which investment is truly the best for you. Maybe you don't want to buy your forever home right now, which is understandable as you might end up in a bad deal later on down the line. But if you have the funds and financial stability to invest in properties that require less commitment, the current state of the market doesn't have to be the deciding factor on whether or not you invest.